listen, we can go to 10 topics tonight because we're built for it. Let's get it. Let's go into Shoot the Breeze topic number 5. And this deals with a video prompt. This should get the conversation going, not only in the chat, but maybe, just maybe, we get some of the women, some of our sisters, to click that StreamYard link and become a panelist for the night. Because this deals with you, huh? This deals with you as a sister. What's going on? It's asking, is this freedom of choice, or are we out of our African minds? This was exclusively in the Discord Bitter Medicine Podcast chat. Guys, let's watch the video that goes with this. Sisters, pay attention. Please hit the link if you feel compelled to share your thoughts. Stand by.
This. And she didn't lie not one time. We got to stop this shit.
This
here,
is the exact
everybody
problem.
Look bad. Why y'all got this on?
Whole culture, baby mama culture, side chick culture, and stripper culture is normalized within the Black community. Just no class, no decorum, no self-respect, no self-decency, just ghetto, ratchet, slum, and hoodlum. Period. Just ghetto, ratchet, slum, and hoodlum. Whew, like, and then you wonder why other races stereotype us the way they do. This is exactly why. This is exactly why, because you're proving all the stereotypes right by carrying yourself like this and then trying to act like it's okay. Just so fucking ghetto, so classless, so indecent, so slum. Whew. And this type of bullshit I refuse to associate myself with because it don't make no damn sense. It honestly doesn't. Like, look at this. Ass is hanging out, cellulite hanging out, titties hanging out, privates hanging out. Like, what the fuck is this, man? I refuse to associate myself with ignorant shit like this because it's classless. No class, no self-respect, no decency, no morals. Just trash, just nothing that I want to be a part of. So I just can't with this shit. All this stripper culture got y'all poorly influenced like this to where you just coming outside dressed up any type of damn way. It don't make no damn sense, honestly. It honestly doesn't. And if anyone else is not going to tell the truth like it is, I for damn sure will be the one to do that, period. So I don't give a fuck if people don't like the video, or like what I'm saying, or agree with what I'm saying, or don't agree with me saying this. I don't give a fuck, because the truth is the truth. And if anyone else is not going to say it, I damn sure will. So it's the reality. It is what it is, man. I'm tired of this ignorant shit. This is exactly why we get stereotyped the way we do, because of shit like this. It's embarrassing.
Now, I woke up this morning to this, and she didn't lie not one time. We got.
All right. I would play that once again, but I think we got the point. Again, that's a video for Shoot the Breeze. Topic number 5. Is this freedom of choice, or are we out of our African minds? And that dealt with a video where a woman was doing a voiceover of, I believe that was the United States, a city in the United States. Looks like a club night, and man, leaving no room to mystery, as some might say, some of the most conservative Black people might say in the chat. Black Steel says, "Shut the fuck up." Yeah, so ads. We can't like titties anymore. We can't like titties. Hey, well. You know what? Let's start with Black Steel. Black Steel, what say you? Is this freedom of choice, or are we out of our African minds?
Man, I hate the moralizing and the Puritan bullshit coming out of African people's mouths sometimes. It's so fake and phony, right? First of all, white people never needed a reason to stereotype us. There was literally lynching and burning Black people alive in suits and military uniforms, right? So to think that the way we behave or the way we might dress is justification for their hatred of us, that's some cooning right there. That's some nonsense. For one, I'm not a fan of the moralizing. I'm not holier than thou. I realize that. I'm just a man, you know? If this ain't my thing, but these people who say this stuff, they've never been to Amsterdam, right? They've never been to Appalachia. They've never been around white people that are half naked or anybody else. So to me, it's like this whole, well, this is wrong, and it's just the fuck up. If you don't want to dress like that, that's fine. Most of our people ain't warriors. Most of our people ain't conscious. They're not hurting anybody. Okay? They're not doing. I didn't see any kids around. I didn't see anything that should have prompted this reaction. But okay, whatever. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But stop trying to say that our oppression or white people's hatred towards us is a result of our behavior. Because we never needed to behave a certain way for them to hate us. They was out here killing black men, black business owners, and college graduates, soldiers, and dressing in their uniform and their Sunday's best. I thought we'd be past this at this point. I really was hoping we would have moved better than this. And you know what? It looks like they're in a party. It looks like they're outside hanging out. It's a nightclub. You know, so what? So what? I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. You want to see, if you don't want to, you know what? A turn of the head will give you an entirely different view. If you don't want to look at it, don't look at it. Why do black people have to be morally upright to be treated as human beings? Why do we have to have some sort of standard, some sort of decorum that justifies our humanity? So it's not even, to me, it's not even a big deal. This is a non-issue to me. I don't know. I guess it's some sort of sorority thing, but I don't know. It just seems like maybe it's just some sort of, she busted wide open in that video. Hold on. She busted it wide open. Anyways, I don't even see this. This is a non-issue to me. I really do feel that, to me personally. Go ahead, Juana.
Wait, Black Steel. You got some questions. You got some questions, Black Steel. Somebody's asking you in the chat. What about being decent for ourselves, Black Steel?
And that's fine. That's fine, right? I don't feel the need to police people's dress. Okay, I'm getting older. I don't even really need to police what people wear. And there's a time and a place to be decent for ourselves. Okay, you should not be pulling up to the line, dropping your kid off at school dressed like this. All right, you shouldn't be. But if you outside at night, it's a party. Who cares? Who cares? Obviously, they're going to a nightclub. They could be going to a dance or something. There's a time and place for everything. Maybe this was the time and the place for it. You know, when we see black people, black women half naked during Carnival, that's the place for it. I'm not going to complain about it. So maybe they're just going to a nightclub. I can see if they're going into a job interview dressed like that. Move your head. Anyways, so that brother need to move his head out the way. Shit. Anyway, I'll let Papa speak.
I appreciate it, Black Steel. In the chat, Lord of Slaughter said, "Tell him bring it back, bring it." Shit, we can bring it back. All right, hey, Black. Oh, no, not Black Steel. Juana, what say you?
I used to have those kind of like conservative views in terms of looking at the world and things of that nature. I used to have it, but as I get older, I recognize that on a biological level, we human beings are a part of the animal kingdom, and animals, they do something called peacocking. Peacocking, especially at times when they are very young and they want to reproduce. It's a mating ritual. It's a mating ritual. They show their colors in terms of with the peacocks, and they show their colorful feathers and things of that nature. But it's a mating ritual. It's a mating ritual. And when do they do this? They do this when they are young and they can reproduce. The times of reproduction happens. Stay with me on this one. Stay with me on this one. Younger women gonna do this idea of peacocking, because they want to attract mates, potential mates. So they're gonna wear their colors, they're gonna show their body parts. And to us, we've been socialized in this conservative identity politics view of the world, not understanding that human beings are part of the animal kingdom. All human beings peacock. All human beings perform mating rituals. So this is what I am looking at on a biological level. And I understand how we've been socialized. It looks kind of weird. Why does this woman have to have on a blonde wig? You know, in terms of her mating ritual, you know, to attract the mate. Maybe she's trying to attract the mate that has money and is probably a European person. Maybe a black person may be attracted to this, but she is trying to attract potential mates. You know, being a part of the animal kingdom. What I am concerned with is I see a lot of the brothers and sisters, us. We have. It's like I don't know what we eating, but the girls are big, huge, and I think that in the future it's going to become a health issue and crisis, man. You know, the women are, I don't know if this is artificial, the butt sizes or whatever, but they seem to be very much overweight. They need to lose some of that girth, man. Their eating practices are just weird. But needless to say, I just personally think I'd look at this as a mating ritual, and these women are trying to attract potential partners, and it looks strange to us because this is not our level of, not all of us, because some of us want to see what's going on in the background right now, but this is not attractive to us. But I think that as these women age and come out of the most heightened parts of them being reproductive, you will see them kind of like streamline how they dress and walk around, and it'll be more quote unquote conservative as they get older in age. But because they're young, they're doing a whole lot of peacocking. You know what I mean? They're trying to attract the potential partners and go engage in the process of the human experience of life. And I think that how we've been socialized, we kind of poo-poo this, but not understanding that we are a part of the animal kingdom. And this is just really what they're doing. And it looks extreme, but we looking at it as older people, judging the young people and doing what we probably would have done back in the day. Because we used to have high top fades and ridiculous hairlines and haircuts. And we engage in peacocking rituals when we were younger. You know, and I think that sometimes we become hypocrites when we get older, forgetting what we did. I wouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't be attracted to this when I was younger. But this is their time, so they feel like this is what's gonna attract their potential partners going forward for the future. So I leave it alone, man. I'm gonna live my space, and I would want to see the homegirl bending over as a 5-star degenerate as well. But needless to say, it's not my time; it's their time. It's their time, so let them do their thing. You know, I'll leave it there, Jacadero.
Black Steel, wanna question just to counter. You know, I have to counter. I have to counter the thoughts. Both of you guys had thoughts that said basically, yeah, you know, it's none of my business really. Is this something that you would want your teenage daughter to be viewing and be influenced as far as being a model? Is this something that you would want your teenage daughter to say, you know what, if you want to self-express just like this, it's none of my business? Would you respond the same way? Black
Well,
Steel.
I mean, again, we're talking about a teenage girl, right? She's a teenage girl. She shouldn't be out this time of night. She should be her ass at home. You know, I would not let her out this time of night wearing something like that. But I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen girls in the school wear stuff. Ooh. Why do you always manage to zoom in that picture, bro? What? Anyways, I would not let my child out this time of night dressed like that. Once she becomes an adult, I can't control her actions. But you know, if she's a teenager, this is definitely not the behavior that she should be doing. She's in school, she should be at home. You know, Saturday night, you want to hang out with your friends at a certain age, that's fine. You got to be home though. But we got to understand as parents, sometimes, you know, we can only do so much. And you know, we have to understand that their peers have a strong effect on them also too. So I'm looking at this right now. Okay, yeah, they got booty shorts on, and you know they're showing the shape and whatnot. But I guess maybe because I've seen so much worse than this. And they're out at night. They could be going to a club or a bar. I think they're coming from a concert. We don't know. And I'm not going to judge people's morals. I mean, these people who think that black women are supposed to walk around in ankle-length skirts without showing their bare arms, their hair tied up neatly in a bun like it's Little House on the Prairie, they got to get over themselves. They got to get over themselves. Our people, our culture has never had an issue with the human body, right? That is a European invention. So if we call ourselves Pan-Africanists, we want to get in touch with African ancestry. This is, you know, even now, if you go to this parts of South Africa, you know, the people or the women are topless, right? And it's nothing. So, I mean, again, we have these European, these Christian norms where we're ashamed of our bodies, we're ashamed of the way we look, we're ashamed of human reproduction. Everything a time for a place. These women come from a club, they come from a concert or whatever. What's the big deal? Chill out. You know, stop being a prude. Maybe she wish she could shape. She was shaped and had a little body on her. She could wear this, you know, the Catwoman suit. It is what it is.
Black Steel. If I was you, you know, you may not notice, pops, but when your daughter go out of the house and she have that backpack, check her backpack, because she may be going out that way, but she may have 2 wardrobes. Yeah, she had slip on that blonde wig. Me personally,
she is grown right now. She's grown. She's 25.
Oh, she's grown. Oh,
so
okay.
So I can't really, you know.
Okay.
I didn't. I saw that tattoo on her the first time. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I was ready to move some furniture.
Oh man.
Her mother was like, "Calm down. She's grown." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Yeah, you gotta let it go.
I taught her the way, but you know, I work in. You know, I've seen the young ladies in the school wear stuff like this, and I'm never gonna dress code a young woman. Never, because the first thing I'm gonna say is, "Why you looking?" You know, that's the first thing I'm gonna say. If they out there, I let one of the female teachers, I let the admin handle it. I'm not saying nothing. You know?
Yeah, they to answer the sister here, they call the term is respectability politics. And as Black Steve was saying, in terms of respect, these people are not gonna respect you in a 3-piece suit anyways. They're not gonna respect you in a 3-piece suit or Brooks Brothers suit anyways. So you can't wait on someone else to respect you. You have to respect yourself first. And it's not to say because a person is wearing an outfit that they don't respect themselves. You know, like I say, these people are going through I think I call it a mating ritual, really personally. You know, but you know, my only thing, if I was a person with a teenage daughter and she put on that blonde wig, I would feel like as a failure, because in terms of beauty, I would want her to have her own hair, to, you know, and rock her own hairstyles to express her beauty, as opposed to putting on some blonde wig. I would feel a way about that. I gotta say, I would feel a whole way about that. But it's as far as young women want to show and express themselves and express their body parts, like I say, many people have done. Many women do that, not just Black women. So it's just respectability politics, and that needs to be questioned and defined. as terms of what is respected, what is respectful, and what is decent. What is decent? Where does that term come from? Let's define these terms before we just use these words and just have the implications go all over the place. I think that these terms need to be defined. I'll leave it there, Jacadero.
I appreciate it, fellas. Hey, man, I've been asking for more participation, and imagine I got my request. Shit, I think if it's if it's like this, I think I should be asking for land in Africa, or maybe even a political position in an African or Caribbean country. The way that I'm asking and I'm receiving, huh? Well, what did I receive? I received another panelist. Let's go ahead and welcome to Shoot the Breeze, episode 239 on the Better Medicine podcast. Kofi, welcome. How are you, man?
Welcome, man. I love your energy. Yeah. Put it
Oh,
out
he
there in
need
the
to be at
universe.
WrestleMania, don't he?
The reason why I love this, I didn't see the whole video, but one of the reasons why I came there, I mean, Jack Doe, you put that energy out there in the air, but something what Black Steel said was very important. But I'm going to address what Buwana said first about, hey, look, my wife knows how I feel about blonde hair. I can't. Now, if you have blonde hair and it's your natural hair, so there's short, okay, like Jada Pinkett, she wore, or Eve, right? When they wore blonde hair, they wore it with their own hair. It was very short. Me personally, I have no real problem in that. Now, when you want to start looking like Paris Hilton, then we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Then we have a problem. And when it comes to that, because I have children too, thank God I have two girls. My daughters are not like that. But every time my children do something, I remember what my grandmother said. You make children, you not make their mind. So just because we have children and we raise in the best way that we can, they have their own minds. They're going to make their own decisions, good or bad. But the reason why I came on the panel, on Black Steel said something that a friend of mine we always have. And it goes into what Buwana was saying, like being respectful, being decent. All these words, depending on the culture, that determines that. So since we're in a Eurocentric culture, we're using a Eurocentric ideology to view our own people. And that's the problem. So when someone says, hey, wow, look, you're indecent. Why are certain traditional Africans and things like that, why they're dressed like that? This and that is happening. And look how they are. They're dressing half naked. They must, are the women safe? And things like, I was like, wait. And Black still says something like that. We are not ashamed of our bodies. 1, 2. My friend says something, not to be crass, cover your kids. Kids are listening, cover your ears. If Africans were walking around with a European sensibility every time you see your breasts or buttocks and stuff like that, and we're in the hot African, again, traditional Africans, there were Africans that obviously had clothes. We were talking about traditional Africans that were first hunter-gatherers, right? If we had that, they had a European sensibility, they walk around with hard dicks all day because all they seen is naked women. But they're not like that because they have control. They know when to see women in a certain way at a certain time, right? They're not walking around like that because they understand what the human body is, what it's for, and they have a sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? They have a sense of a time and place and community and how to feel at a certain particular time. Versus Europeans that have to cover themselves all the time. So they see a little ankle that, you know what I'm saying, they're busting in their pants. Saying same thing going off a little bit topic. Same thing here with when you look at these Islamic women, these Muslim women looking like ninjas, right? And they like to say, oh, well, it's modesty. So she has to cover herself to be modest. So she shows a little cleavage or a little or a knee. She's a whore. And when you look at these societies, I spoken to Muslim men. I was like, why do they have to cover themselves up? And you're saying, oh, it's tradition, is that to show their modesty, to protect their chastity, but you're wearing Western clothing. Whenever you choose, no one's forced you to wear that. And when you talk to them, so you know what, brother, And so, sometimes how men could be, and with your wife, make sure your wife is good in safety. Oh, so you're saying that she shouldn't dress like that to protect her chastity or her to be modest. The men in your society are bastards because that's how you're thinking. If you see a woman that she's revealing too much, then what I'm saying, something's going to happen to her. And we have to think about these things. Same thing in Christianity. That's where Islam gets it from. They get it from Christians too, because Christianity is older than Islam, right? This is how these people are thinking. And when we come in and say, they're like how you're dressed like horse. So Carnival and Caravana, that is an African tradition, right? Mardi Gras, that's an African tradition, how we celebrate and we do like that. And people and Europeans say, you haven't clothes, meaning you're being, if you're a woman, you're being the whore of Babylon, stuff like that. Again, that's their culture, they're imprinting on us. We didn't walk around thinking like that until we were with them. So again, I'm sorry if you feel that I'm rambling because I didn't really see the video. So I apologize, I'm not speaking towards the video. But when Black Steel says something like that, it's and Juana is very triggering for me. And it goes to show how indoctrinated we are in this European society when someone says, well, you're indecent. According to who? But I'll just leave it in there. Good show. I'm enjoying it. I'm curious to see what you guys would say.
Any response? And appreciate it, Kofi. By the way, thank you for coming on the show. Anybody else that's listening, you want to have your voice heard, become a panelist, click on that StreamYard link. Also, don't forget to hit the like button in case you have not. Guys, anybody that wants
I don't want to. I understand that you have some people who are they lean towards this idea of conservatism and this what they used to call it, Elizabethan kind of ethic, where women should only be dressed in a certain way. But there's other views of the world that human beings should be able to appreciate. It's just not only one way in how to engage the world. And the human body is a beautiful thing. If the human body is well, you don't have to always put it out there and show it the human body. Well, maybe you should live in a conservative country or in a conservative space where you don't have to see the human body. But for me, the human body for me is a celebration of life. I don't throw it in a garbage bin. I don't disregard it, but people have different views and you have to respect them. You have to respect people's differences of opinions. But if you are repulsed by Carnival, don't go to Carnival. Go to a nice restaurant where you could, drink your pina colada, drink your Bahama Mama, and you could go in conservative spaces. You will never have to worry about going to Carnival to see scantily clad women and men beating on goatskin drums and things of that nature. So you don't have to be repulsed. Stay away from these places if it's not your cup of tea,
Question, Juana, and also Black Steel and Kofi as well in the chat. Question asked, it's 2026. You three are men, grown men. You okay with your guys' wives dressing like the way that you see in the video in the background? Huh? With the ass cheeks out?
So we're not going to my mom's house dressed like that, first of all. We're not going to the PTA meeting dressed like that. All right. That's just not happening. Again, if we're going out to a club, when I went to the Kevin Hart show, right? One girl was showing some cheeks. The cheeks was kind of poking a little bit. It wasn't like this, but I mean, I would be going out to a nightclub, which I don't really go to nightclubs anymore. When I was younger, she would be wearing stuff. We'd be going together. She'd be wearing some tight clothing. So, I really wouldn't care. I mean, ultimately, hell, when I met her, my son's mother at least, when I met her, we went on our first date. She wore something like this. So I mean, I wasn't complaining it. Again, it's a time and place for everything. We're not going to the family reunion like this, I mean, okay, for example, right? When we go to the beach, she wears a bikini, right? My girl wears a bathing suit. It's not a big deal. Her bathing suit shows just as much as this. Again, the time and place for everything. So, PTA meeting, no. Company picnic, hell no. I mean, you're not gonna be going around the picnic at the end of the year or the Christmas party dressed like that. Hell no, that ain't happening. But otherwise, like we're going to like the beach or something like that, I really wouldn't have an issue with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much gonna piggyback on what Black still is saying. It's a time and place for everything. Now, my wife is not gonna dress like that. Well, you know what I'm saying? But if anyone is a part, especially if you come to New York or if you're in South Florida and you're part of Carnival, there are a lot of women that dress, you know what I'm saying, in that way, and they're not looked down at. They're doing it for Carnival. So they're doing it for Carnival, saying if you go to Brazil, they're doing that. These are everyday people, right? And again, the time and place for everything. If my wife will only wear certain things because she's with me. So what my anniversary is coming up or whatever, and we're going away. I'm pretty sure she even want me to look at her suitcase. Why you know my suitcase? Like, well, I was just like, no, I don't want you to see. Like, this is a surprise. Why? Because that's for me. You know what I'm saying? And if we're going out, you know what I'm saying, then yeah, she's with me, but it's not gonna be insane or crazy. You know what I'm saying? So real quick story, my wife is bodacious, you know what I'm saying? And we went to Atlantic City and we we went to a live comedy club, right? Comedy club, whatever. We were in the front row. All the male comedians were just talking about her front bodacious exterior. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, she didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's really dressed up for me. It wasn't even anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? But again, there's a time and place for everything. But if I know women that will dress up for Carnival or whatever, and they'll live pretty much a respectable, what we will call quote unquote respectable life through, most of the time. But no, this time of year, that's what they're doing. So again, you have to be, when it comes to the culture, when you see women dress like that in Carnival, then yeah. But again, to each his own. Certain women, and I'm looking at the picture right now, again, to each his own. I don't like the hair thing or whatever. But if you out there and you're a single woman, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like Buana said, it's pretty much you do your little mating dance, the man does a little mating call, and that's all that it is. So I really don't look down on people like that. Again, if it's not your cup of tea, is not your type of person who you want to be attracted to, then that's it. No one's forcing you, and I'm not going to look down and really judge people basically, that are single out there, looking for that thing. Look, there's women out there that dress up, go out with their girlfriends, and just to see, do I still got it? I still got it. I know women that just dress up just to drive men crazy. They ain't trying to get no numbers. They ain't trying to hook up or anything like that. They just doing it just because. It's an ego thing with women sometimes, and men too. You know what I'm saying? Certain men are like, I wonder if I still got it. You know what I'm saying? So look, we can never know what's going on in people's minds just by looking at them. That's pretty much it.
Appreciate it, Black.
You shouldn't
Go
judge a
ahead.
book. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And unfortunately, well, let me answer the question, Kuku's question. If I describe this whole situation as a mating ritual, and my partner is standing right next to me, why is she still performing the mating ritual? So I'd have questions to say why she's still walking around trying to find a mate if your mate standing right next to you. But um yeah, there was a guy. He was a pastor. I think his name is Jamal Bryant. I think that Black Steel might know who he is. His wife was he's a pastor's wife. He's a pastor, and his wife was dressed in a very scantily clad way, and that upset a whole lot of people because they say, well, oh, she shouldn't be dressing like this. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe they might be right. Your mate is standing right next to you. So that view that you are given to the world is specifically supposed to be for your mate. But that's my opinion. She may have another view of the world. and I don't want to police her view of the world just because I see the world differently. So you have to respect people's right to do whatever they need to do. You know, like I say, you can't judge books by their cover. You know, you can't judge people by the cover of their books because people may be completely different from how they appear to be. And I think that sometimes we go off of, oh, she looked nice, she's pretty or whatever. But when you get involved with her, you find out she is a devil, you know, in terms of her morality and how she looks at life. And you have some people who scantily clad and this like that, and they'll give you the last dollar they have in their pocket. So, like I say, you can't really judge books by their cover. But I understand that the world doesn't work that way, and you have to sometimes work with the world. So it is what it is.
Okay, this is good. Juana. Okay, so you can't judge a book by its cover. Let me play a little opposite. Huh? Let me be opposite on this. You can't judge a book by its cover. But what if the book is wide open? You haven't read any of the pages, but you're like, whoa, look at these photos. I can tell exactly what's going on in this book. You know, I say that to say, you know, when I first got to Omaha after graduating college in Minnesota, I didn't live in the best neighborhood in North Omaha. And there are certain neighborhoods where if you wear certain colors, seriously, you know, that you can possibly be identified with that group. And so should I tell the people that are opposed to those groups, hey, don't judge me. I just want to wear these colors.
We talking kind of about different kinds of things, but you are talking about a high level of ignorance because you talk about gangs and things of that nature. So that's just ignorance. That's just high levels of ignorance and really in powerlessness. But we kind of having a different kind of discussion right now. People who are trying to exert their power where they really have none, they lead to these insignificant things. Or he's wearing the wrong hat one day, or he's wearing the wrong colors one day. Let me exert my control and power over him and beat him up, or even unalive him. You know, because this is the level of power they feel like they have or have to exert, where they have really no power in their communities and things of that nature. So that's kind of a different discussion, Jack, just a little bit.
Sure, it might be, but can you give it to me? Can at least we be on the same level as far as you can't judge a book by its own cover? How long can we use that excuse before people do judge you? Because at the end of the day, we have eyes. We're just like you said, we are part of the mammal kingdom, right? The animal kingdom. We have eyes, and so usually human beings decide what they're going to do based on sight. Is that
no, Jacadero? You have eyes, but you have a mind. You delineated. Let me use that word. You are distinct from the rest of the animal kingdom because beyond your eyes, you have the ability to do what? You have the ability to reason. You have the ability to reason. An animal don't have the process or reasoning capacity like a human being. That's why we are at the top of the animal kingdom as opposed to the bottom. So you have to get beyond your eyes, because my cat has eyes as well, but he can't go beyond his physical senses in terms of going in his mind and reasoning, engaging with the person that you physically see may be beautiful. But when you get to talk to her, you understand that she is on a level that you might not necessarily want to continue the conversation. Or she may be an evil individual. You have the ability to process and critically analyze as opposed to the rest of the animal kingdom who don't have that same kind of capacity and ability. So it's not just the eyes itself. When you engage an individual, it goes beyond that for the human being as opposed to the rest of the animals.
Yeah, and plus, again, it has to go with place. Like, who's being judgmental at a person at the club? Who's being that judgmental? Like our brother Black still said, when you at the beach, when you at the carnival. Now, if we're going to Publix grocery store and a grocery store, and you're dressed like that, it's like, okay, what's going on here? Like our brother Black said, if we're at the PTA meeting, okay, what's going on? That's where society, I think, has a valid point as far as how you conduct yourself. Now, me, I have a good memory. I remember in 5th, 6th grade, there used to be this girl. Her name was Anna. Gorgeous. She was like, I think she was like black. Well, Puerto Ricans are black, but she looked good, right? Her father was like looked like Booker T. Washington, and then her mother was like just a regular on black woman, right? And I'm not gonna even mention the instant why she came, right? People pick on kids, boys. We know how to express ourselves, so we pick on you, whatever. Her mother came, right? This is the children, again, fifth graders. Her mother was dressed in a nice little. This is the 80s now. Her mother is dressed like in a kind of like a skirt, a lot of makeup on. She looked like, she possibly might be working the streets, but probably not. I just remember the guy saying, "Yo, that's your mother?" She was like, "Yeah, that's my mother." And it was like, God damn, like her mother looked, a little, I'm trying to paint a picture in your heads, short skirt, a lot of makeup, she looked like she might have worked the streets, but maybe not. But if children could look at that, again, we're being raised in society and have that type of idea, that mentality, then of course the adults are going to have that, what I'm saying? Because she's coming to school. Okay, you have to come to school, miss. Again, I'm young. Maybe maybe the teacher just grabbed her or whatever, but you're in school and you're dressed this way. And she has and I think I probably saw her more than once. That's just how the woman dresses. So yeah, people could start having their own ideology of what your mother is, the type of person she is. But hey, her mother likes to wear skirts and wear a lot of makeup. Just in a place like that, then it will be warranted. But other places, like, nah, I don't think so.
You know what's funny about this conversation? Because we're talking about clothing and appearances. If you ever, anyone on the panel, I don't know if y'all know who Steve Jobs is. Well, what's the other guy from Microsoft, Kofi?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. If you never knew of a Bill Gates and a Steve Jobs, you would look at them and think they were vagabonds. You would think that they were on the street, some pasty white guy asking for $1. Because how did they dress? Steve Jobs used to dress in a shirt and some beat up pair of jeans and some shoes that probably cost $1,000, but you think it costs like $4. This is true. And this is the reason why I say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because these guys, despite the fact that they was dressing like hobos, own billion-dollar companies. So this is the reason why I say sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover. There are people who come to this country every year. In particular, a lot of these white guys coming to this country, you would not know that these guys are billionaires. Sol Kersner, who owns Atlantis, or his family owns Atlantis. When he would walk the streets of the Bahamas, don't you know, most people didn't know who he was, but because he used to dress like a vagabond, short pants, a cheap T-shirt, and some glasses, and you would never know he owned Atlantis, a billion-dollar company. You would never know that if you didn't know he was Sol Kersner. This is, like I say, you shouldn't judge books by its cover. It's not why I see that all the time. I don't think. But like I said, I understand we live in the modern world, so you have to carry the world sentiments from time to time. But I think that sometimes you have to engage people to see where they actually are, as opposed to looking at them from a distance. And sometimes we are very heavy critics of Black people in terms of how they dress. We more critical than other people in terms of our policing of Black people's attire. It's the strangest thing in the world, but I'll leave it.
In the chat, Provide Trigger says, or ask, what about African Islamic cultures where women are required to cover themselves? Example, in Senegal, where women are required to cover their heads at all times. And then Koku says, in response to what I think it was Buana or Kofi, his ass and balls was Steve Jobs and that guy that wants to eugenicize Africa. His ass and balls wasn't out though. So, man, this conversation can go on and on. I know that it was one that when I looked at it, it was one that was going to be a conversation starter. and it looks like it's not going to end. Let's get into our sixth. Yes. Believe it or not, if you're just joining us, we are having 6, maybe even 7, 6, 7, maybe even 8, Shoot the Breeze topics for the night here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. This is episode 239. I'm Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku. Let's get into our 6th